Hey everybody, welcome to another Let's Playthrough with me, your host Tim. And today, we'll be playing a little bit of Convoy. So, as usual, some prep before we start. So first off, you might be wondering what the heck is Convoy, because you probably haven't heard of the game. It's difficult to explain what Convoy is. If I had to pick a game which is somewhat similar to it, the closest thing I could think of would be Faster Than Light. A roguelike, combat is real-time, and yet there's a above-world map, and we have to navigate about it. This is somewhat similar, but also very different than Faster Than Light. So when we actually start the game, we'll get a chance to see all that. I will spend some time going over everything and what we're seeing and so on. There is a tutorial with this game, but the tutorial, it covers like the real basic stuff. So we're actually going to learn more by just leaping into the game and starting it up. For the plot, our mothership here, or our capital ship, has had some sort of issue with its warp drive or engines or God knows what, and it's been forced to make a emergency landing on this planet, this backwater planet here. We will need several items in order to repair our ship. So our objective will be to head out there into the vast world and find them and bring them back. And that's pretty much it. That's really all I can think about. Oh, the game was a Kickstarter game, and I backed it at $45. I promise you guys I would tell you whenever I play a game that I am an alpha or beta tester for, or I put money toward, and that is the case with this one. As such, we can expect there to be some changes. The game feels just about done, and in fact I think it's very close to being finished. There is one bug or glitch in the game that I am aware of. I will show the glitch in the game as well, and I'll probably make a link to that glitch for the good people who make this game. Alright, so I'm done kind of rambling on. Let's go ahead and start. Oh, and by the way, this game has quite a few pop culture references, or it used to at the very least. The only one I recognize on this screen is this number, 0451. Good for these guys. Good for you if you know where this is from. Alright, let's go ahead and start a new game together. Okay, so let's explain some of this right away. So first off, this is our MCV. If our MCV is destroyed... Actually, you know what? Let's do the tutorial. It will cover the basics better than I will, and then I can get into the details later. Welcome to Convoy. In Convoy, your mission is to find and collect parts to repair your spaceship. These parts are scattered around the world. You'll have to explore to find them. You can also collect parts to upgrade your units. This is very important since there are a lot of enemies trying to get a piece of your cargo. In this tutorial, you will start by learning the basics of combat. I need to stress that this will show the bare basics of combat. This is your MCV, main convoy vehicle, this thing right here in the center. Your convoy survival is of greatest importance. Your MCV must survive. If this is destroyed, we lose the game. This is your escort unit. It is the only thing keeping your MCV safe. This is not necessarily true, but often is. Your MCV is usually equipped with a starting item of some sort. You can use it to defend yourself, but it itself will not be enough to defend your vehicle entirely. In fact, without escort units, you will probably lose your MCV. Each vehicle has a certain amount of health and armor. Your MCV has a lot more health than escort units, but it's not invincible. Your health is a red bar. You can see that over here as well, in the upper... Oh, well, alright, hold on, I'm messing this up. This is your life, this red bar, and this is this escort unit's life. The blue bar is your armor. The more armor you have, armor is based on a percentage scale, so we can see that our MCV has over 50 armor. This means that he'll reduce the damage he takes from all attacks by 50%. Here, I don't quite know how much our Lancer 7 has for armor. It looks like he has about 45% armor. And we can see his life scale here. Still with me? Alright, let's continue onward. Your MCV cannot be controlled directly. It needs to be protected by the smaller escort units. This means that the MCV can only travel straight. You can't move him, you can't turn him. This is what he does. This is also the combat screen, by the way, so you can expect your MCV to stand right in the middle of this screen at all times and just move forward. But we can, however, move our escort units. So if I click on this guy, I'm able to move him by then right-clicking someplace else. As you can see, he'll slow down and whatnot, accelerate and turn. It appears that we're being chased by a privateer. We should fight back before it takes our cargo. I'll explain some things over here as well. How easily your vehicle turns or quickly is based on its handling skill, by the way. And you won't be able to do everything all at once. Like, you might give him an order, it might take him a few seconds, and then he'll go and start doing so. So let's go ahead and continue. The game can be paused by pressing spacebar. You can still select units and give orders. We should kill this privateer before it does too much damage. Right-click your unit, and then select the enemy. Oh, sorry, select your unit. And we're going to say, go after this guy.
Definitely.
Target confirmed. We hit spacebar to close this view.
Roger.
And then we need to move my escort vehicle closer so this enemy falls within the range of our weapon. Great shot! Your unit will fire on the targeted enemy as long as it is in range. Armor protects a unit's health by reducing an equal percentage of incoming damage. Example, a unit would receive 10 damage if it has... Oh, if a unit would receive 10 damage but has 40% armor, it would only take 6 damage. Some powerful weapons also damage armor. Notice how the privateer's plasma gun damages both your armor and health. Actually, it looks like they reworked it because I'm only seeing it damage my armor. These weapons are rare and provide a significant tactical advantage.
Hey. Definitely.
There are all sorts of different weapons in the game. They fire at different rates and etc, etc. So you will probably end up with certain preferences. In this case, it looks like our... What is this? This looks like a high-powered rifle. Oh, no, I'm incorrect. It does damage our health. Your MCV has an ability. Abilities need to be targeted manually. Use your EMP ability to stun the enemy and finish him off. Our EMP is down here. So we can click on this, and this says, where do you want to shoot that EMP? We'll shoot it at this guy. That will stun him. Combat involves you managing your escort vehicles and your MCV's abilities. You will also need in combat to avoid debris, rocks. You'll need to make sure you go over bridges, or this way you don't crash into crevices. And you'll need to be doing all this at the same time. It's quite hectic. Well done. The privateer has been destroyed. For the next part of this exercise, you've received a new unit, some parts, and some items. The new unit doesn't have any items equipped. To equip a unit, you'll need to go to a camp. Hey, Lancer 7, or Lancer 8.
Hi.
Oh, he's got a huge range, but he's got no weapons on him. Let's open our map. This map shows you vital information. That's a useful tip, such as your resources, this for bolts, this symbol for fuel, and this symbol for quest items. Your tracker, which shows main objectives, side objectives, and points of interest. Okay, let's go over this really quick while we're here. So this is our green duck. This is our MCV for the tutorial. We can see its current hit points and armor and whatnot. By the way, we're almost done with the tutorial here. Lancer 8 and Lancer 7. This is Escort Unit 1, Escort Unit 2. I think we have room for 4 of them. We might have room for 5, but don't quote me on that. I've never been able to get that far in the game. Up here, we can see that we have 100 bolts, 0 of 2 quest items, and 200 fuel. Fuel is expended as we move about this map. Bolts are used to upgrade your current convoy, both your actual MCV and your escort units. It's used to purchase equipment from different shops, and it's used to repair your convoy when you take damage. It's similar to scrap in Faster Than Light. The quest items basically mean that, hey, you can try to go after 2 quests at once, basically. Once you complete quests, generally you will drop quest items off at their end of quest location. All right, let's go continue here. Your cargo bay is now... Oh yeah, we should do this. These are your main objectives. We're going to need to find self-stealing stem bolts, hyperdrive stabilizers, a compression coil, and a blue R998X chip. Our side objectives are none. We don't have any basically side quests. And we can see where Spaceship Mercury is crash landed here. And we could also always find the nearest camp, which is someplace out and about. Now let's head for the nearest camp. Okay. Follow the arrow next to your convoy and drive to the camp. So that's what's supposed to happen. Selecting a point of interest will change the arrow to point to it. So if I wanted to go find the self-stealing stem bolts, I could click on this here, and it would say, hey, the self-stealing stem bolts are located on Deep Space Nine. I'm surprised I remember that. By the way, down here, we can flip on and off terrain and factions if you want to get rid of the hex on the screen. These are different pieces of gear. Well, the tutorial will go over it soon enough. As you can see, you can move around. Moving on roads is much faster than moving off roads. This here represents different types of terrain. This is, I think it's called a contour line map. And we can see that this here, darker or lower on the contour lines. Black is a road. So this is a higher elevation than this one. And this is higher, and then this is the highest. You will encounter more rocks and debris in rocky terrain, and your vehicle moves slower over this terrain than when not moving over it. Alright, let's visit this camp. This is the camp symbol. We'll go over what these different colors mean later. You can now enter the camp. In the camp, you can buy items from the shop. You can also upgrade and repair your convoy. Select a vehicle. Let's select our MCV. Here you can view the vehicle's stats and weapons. You can also purchase upgrades for each stat. To install new weapons, drag one from the cargo bay to the corresponding colored slot. Now hit return to the camp. Okay, let's go over to shop and say, hey, you can do stuff right here in the shop too. The shop lets you, in this case, the shop is selling Purple Dog, which is another escort unit for 140 bolts, and it comes equipped with this light machine gun. And this shop is also selling a minigun and a heavy machine gun. If we wanted to purchase something, we could just click the buy, and it would cost us 50 bolts to do so. And that concludes the tutorial. Now that really didn't show us anything, so let's start the actual game. Well, it did show us combat really, really briefly, a very easy combat. But we're going to play the actual game, and you'll see that, okay, it's a little more complicated than that. So let's go ahead and start a new game. And there's a lot the game didn't cover, but we'll go over it together when we start. So here we go. Actually, I'm going to stop the recording really quick to see how this is coming out. I also like what I've done so far. And when I come back, we'll be ready to play a new game. So give me a few seconds here. Everyone, okay, it sounds like the recording's coming out okay. Let's go ahead and start a new game and show off some Convoy. Now, I like to try to get as far as we can in this game. This means that it's going to take us several sessions to get through it. I've never even gotten close to beating the game. I think the most I've been able to do is 50% of it, so before I fail. I'm pretty bad at this game. We're gonna fail. Here we go. So first off, let's go over what we see in front of us. So this is where we'll be able to select our starting escort vehicles. You always get 2, and we only have this one unlocked. Now, this differs greatly from what this used to be. It used to show a bunch of them that were available, but somehow now they're all locked for us. So I have no idea how we unlock these. So we're forced to take these 2 with us to start. Hopefully, this is a good start. Over here, down below in this section, we can see the Unit 1, Unit 2, and our MCV choices. We will be able to randomly determine our names of our vehicles. I kind of like this. We'll stick with Sauce 1 and Green Eagle. You can also see what types of weapons they have here. So, looks like these are both Sidewinders, or there's something wrong with the text, because it looks like they both have the same exact text. In any case, this is a heavier vehicle than this one. I know that we can see their stats down here too. This one has 150 more hit points, but its range is smaller compared to this one. And this one also has more AP, which is its, I want to say, armor protection? And this is our currently selected MCV, Green Scar. You'll note that you can select different MCVs here, and you get different pieces of gear to start with them. Their stats are also slightly different, and I think their upgrade levels will be different when you actually start the game as well. We kind of like the idea of Grease Fox. And of course, we have several that are not unlocked yet. Looks like some sort of alternate ones. So, and the name apparently changes when you go back and forth. Yep, Turbo Bucket. I like Big Knight. We're gonna stick with Big Knight. Big Knight. Yep, you can type in the name for your vehicle too if you wish. So, and down here it shows your starting equipment. It looks like this first MCV is always going to start with a mine layer, which isn't so bad. The unit throws anti-tank mines, doing severe damage to anything driving over them. Awesome. And it looks like we get a light machine gun on this one, and a heavy machine gun on Green Eagle. A bigger version of the small MG does more damage overall. Okay, so Green Eagle is our DPS, and Sauce 1 is, I guess, more DPS, but a little less DPS. Okay, so I guess we're ready to go. So let's see what else we have here. These are the number of bolts you start with, and the amount of fuel you'll start with on the normal difficulty level. Lowering it to easy gives you 175, or upping it to hard gives you 0 bolts and 25 fuel. This is a nightmare situation. I have no idea how you'd possibly do hard. The difficulty level also determines the number of enemy vehicles you'll be fighting when you enter into combat situations, by the way. I can't get very far on normal whatsoever, but we're gonna try it anyway, because, well, why not? I'm an average guy, so I would like to play on normal. We're gonna die, it's gonna be terrible. Let's go ahead and start a new game. Welcome to Convoy. After enduring an ion storm, your spaceship was forced to make an emergency landing on the planet Omega Prime due to critical damage to its primary systems. The captain has ordered you to traverse the planet in search of replacement parts. Obtaining these will allow the spaceship to continue its mission. The captain wants you to collect the following parts and bring them to the spaceship: a compression coil, a flux capacitor, sonic screws, and self-stealing stem bolts. Omega Prime is a world filled with danger. 3 factions vie for control of the planet. They are the Privateers, the Raiders, and the Torvac. Managing to survive in this harsh world, where most arguments are settled with violence, is key to your success. Any questions? No, let's go. I'll explain all this stuff in a little bit. Okay, so this looks familiar to us. This is the world map. The map, as far as I can tell, I think the world map is fixed, but things that are around in it are random, because I seem to remember this layout here of this mountain range and this mountain here and this over here. This has always been the same. I don't think the map is randomly generated. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Over here we see we have a new icon. We have this one, which is, oh wait, I think I explained this already. This is 0 of 2 quest items. Our main objectives for this mission are to get these 4 objects. Now, I can tell you that these change somewhat. There's at least, I want to say, one other main objective which didn't show up here. So we have a compression coil this time instead of the R889X blue chip or something like that instead, which is kind of neat. So even your main objectives might be different. These are lengthy and somewhat involved in order to complete them. You'll see when we start completing our main objectives what I'm talking about there. We have no side objectives to start. We can see Spaceship Mercury and the nearest camp. So you can't scroll this map, by the way. It's always as it is here. These are the amount of weapons or add-ons that we've found during combat, or that we've picked up in the game world, and that we haven't applied to any of our vehicles. You can only store 4 of them at once. Let's go to our camp to start, where I can go over camp a little bit more in depth than what we saw in the tutorial. So, let's go ahead and click on a vehicle. This is our MCV. Here, we can see its upgrades, its current slot types, as well as items that have been slotted to it, and its statistics readout down here. We can also go to visit the scrapyard, in which case we can drag equipment to this and scrap it. Looks like this item would be worth 25 bolts if we were to sell it. These are your upgrades down here. Actually, let's go to slots first. Sorry about that. Slots consist of a item type. Let's see if we can't give you an example. And a slot it will fit in. For example, our light machine gun is a red item. See the red square around it? This means it can only fit into a red slot. We cannot put this item into any of the slots on our Big Knight. Big Knight can only hold green items, like this mine layer. It is possible, I think, to find escort units that have yellow slots. It might be possible to find one that has a green slot, but I can't remember. It's been too long. In any case, as we proceed on, oh, by the way, you can also place the thing in different locations, as you can see here. I'm going to place the mine layer at this location. Next, we have upgrade capabilities of this vehicle. The gray squares or rectangles you see here are empty, unused upgrade slots. The brown are slots that are not available for this unit or this vehicle. So, for example, we can increase health 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times total. And then you can see the effects down here. It would also light up each individual slot as you try to upgrade it. This is the amount of bolts required to gain 1 point in an upgrade here. So if we were to upgrade our Big Knight's health 1 slot, we would see it would increase him down here 250 hit points, and 1 of 6 slots there would be consumed. You can right click, by the way, to remove the slot. We can see our handling is maxed, because this vehicle can't actually move around, he just goes straight. His range is maxed, because he generally can't ever equip red items on him. And Mine Guard. We should go over Mine Guard a little bit. Mine Guard is your, I think it's your the percentage of less damage you take for just running over mines. It might also apply to debris, such as wrecks. When you destroy an enemy vehicle in combat, it immediately produces a wreck. If you slam into that wreck, you're going to take damage, so be careful with where you destroy enemy vehicles, where they are on the battle map. Our Sauce 1 here, as you see, is different than our MCV. It has 3 health slots, 4 armor, 3 handling, etc., etc. It also has range and handling, as opposed to our MCV. See, our handling increases our handling ability here by 10, it looks like, and it also improves our evade slightly at rank 2, and slightly more, I think, at rank 3, but we don't have enough bolts to upgrade it 2 points. It gets steadily more expensive, 10 bolts more, I believe, for each upgrade you wish to take, multiple times. So if we take health 1, and then health 2 will take us 20 bolts, and then we can't afford the 3rd slot, for example. And here's Green Eagle. And it looks like Green Eagle has actually the same thing as this one. Yeah, looks like, well, it's the same here, although his starting stats are a little different. He has less hit points and AP, but slightly better handling with 5 more points. Okay, so that's how upgrades work. I'm not going to take any upgrades to start. We're going to have to hope that we find some bolts out there, and then we'll come back here and hopefully be able to do that. Alright, in addition, let's visit the shop, which is always the American flag looking thing. We can buy fuel here at 10 bolts for 5 units of fuel. There is nothing else to do at this shop, because this shop is our capital ship, the Mercury. Other shops might sell escort units or weapons in them, but not at this location. You can also repair your stuff here. I'm not sure what this number is, 5,200 hit points, 10 AP. I think it costs like 5 bolts to heal 200 hit points and 10 AP. We'll know for sure after we get into our first fight, because we're going to take some damage there. Okay, so I think we're actually ready to start doing something. So looking at the map, we can see different colors. Ooh, this is awkward. The different factions are represented in different colors. The Privateers are green, the Raiders are red, and Torvac is blue. The darker the highlight of the hex, the more likely you are to have a random encounter in that hex with a unit of that type. We can see that the Privateers have access to all this area, and even threaten the Mercury itself. We can see a little bit of blue way down here, which means Torvac is down there. We also see that there's some sort of weird yellow icon over here. This is a guaranteed encounter of some sort. So to start, let's go ahead and pick a main objective we're going to try to do. Let's go after the flux capacitor to start. So that wants us to go down in this direction. So let's go exploring. Okay, and we see a guaranteed encounter right here in Torvac. We're already also down 3 units of fuel. Let's go ahead and visit it and see what we have down here. The signal appears to be coming from a massive, old, overgrown football stadium. The stadium looms over you, making you feel incredibly insignificant as you look up at the massive building. The local fauna has overtaken the majority of the stadium, but it still looks stable. We can leave, at which case I think the event still stays on the map, or we can poke about inside and see what's here. These are random events, are somewhat similar to Faster Than Lights in that you can gain vehicles, you can lose vehicles, you can gain bolts, etc., etc., and sometimes you might get a side quest as well. Let's poke about inside. We just started the game, so if you die instantly, we can just start over. Upon heading inside, you see several statues of football players. Judging from their posture and size, you suspect they were local legends. They are covered in local flowers and vines. Eventually, you arrive at the vomitorium to the field. Is that right? Vomitorium? Wow, okay. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Looking inside, you see the way to the center of the stadium is lined with balls and jerseys on spears. Uh-oh. Let's head into the field. I've never seen this event before, so this is exciting. As you pass the jerseys and begin smelling rotting flesh, upon closer inspection, they all have rotting torsos inside them. You cringe and hold down your vomit and keep walking towards the fields. Upon reaching the middle of the field, you instantly feel a change in temperature in general feeling. Despite in the middle of the field and in the middle of an empty stadium, you have never felt more closed in. It's as if eyes are everywhere, staring at you, staring through you, burning you up. As you turn to leave, you see a shadow move. Let's chase it. You fail to catch the shadow. It's too quick and the hallways get confusing. After hours of searching for an exit, you come out onto the field to find several tribals wearing football jerseys, dead on the grass. Eventually, you reach your convoy and prepare to leave this place. Oh, that was interesting. So a bit of story stuff, but nothing else. Alright, let's keep moving toward where we need to go. Another event, never mind, we're swinging to that. A variety of Torvac vehicles is gathered here. It appears to be some sort of exposition. Let's investigate. We welcome you to the Torvac Weapon Exposition. We have many high-end weapons available for purchase. Sounds like a trap. Let's go. I don't have the money anyway. Okay, so let's head down to this direction, and we'll visit this one. The radio signal originated from a lone man carrying a radio beacon. Hi, my name's Guy, he says. I need some help. Sure, but it'll cost you. A reward? My cousin lives in the town of Colonia, and a plague has reared its ugly head. The courier carrying the cure won't respond. Will you help? I won't be able to pay you for your efforts, but the people of Colonia are bound to be grateful. No, I don't want anything to do with plague people. Wow, that's some real privateer influence in these two locations. We're already almost at half of our fuel. I don't know where to go. Let's try investigating this location. As you drive through the desert, you spot what looks like a huge swarm of locusts. Let's divert course. The swarm doesn't seem interested in you, and you continue your way without any trouble. This looks like a strange Torvac beacon is emitting a radio signal. Let's investigate it. Several Torvac vehicles approach rapidly. It looks like the Torvac uses this beacon as a trap. Let's fight him. Okay, our first fight. As you can see, there are 3 enemy vehicles compared to R2, much different than the tutorial. On easy, you will fight 2 enemies, I believe, at the very start of the game. The number of enemies increase, I believe, as you begin completing your objectives.
Hey! Shooting the enemy. Waiting orders. Acknowledged. Orders? Not a
Oh, he missed.
waiting orders. Let me out. Moving out. Orders?
Oh god, it's a mine.
Yes. Orders. You got it. Waiting orders. Yes, Captain. Standing by. Hey! What can I do?
The skulls right there mean death if a vehicle drives into them.
Let me out. Definitely. Rolling.
Oh no, I want to hit that. Damn it, do damage to my guy.
Waiting orders. Hey! Roger that. Yes, Captain?
I'm just gonna stand here and take this mine. If he drops another one, don't hit the scrap, the wreck though. Okay, so we gained 50 bolts and 6 fuel. After the fight, your engineers suggest taking apart the beacon for parts. Let's do it. The beacon was booby-trapped and explodes. One of your vehicles was caught by the blast. Oh wow. Oh wow! Holy crap! Alright, well, we kinda lost. Oh, that was really weird. Okay, so Green Eagle's almost destroyed, and suffered heavy damage. We've also almost lost all our armor on Big Night. We need to find a camp. And we need to repair. And then we have enough cash to purchase some fuel. And we're done. That was pretty rough. Shouldn't have. If I didn't loot that beacon, we would have made a small profit there. Okay, so let's keep going. I still want the flux capacitor, so let's get back down to this. The different factions use different types of weapons as well. Torvac are basically high tech. Privateers use a variety of stuff. It seems like you've driven straight into a sandstorm. You lose contact with your vehicles. Let's wait it out. Eventually the storm passes and you manage to recover contact with them. We're almost out of fuel. We would have lost the game right now if we were playing on hard. As a heads up, we would have lost a while ago. But as traveling through the blistering sands, you spot a lone Torvac vehicle driving in the distance. Let's destroy it. As you approach the lone Torvac vehicle, you arrive at a firing range. There was a strange shimmering in the air before you're suddenly surrounded by additional Torvac units. They must have been using some sort of cloaking technology. We need the fuel.
What can I do?
Very badly.
What can I do? Orders? Let me out. Yeah. Unit reporting. Not a problem. Let me out. Awaiting orders. Guns ready. Acknowledged.
I should focus on individual vehicles. Oh wow! He flew right into that. That's awesome. Good for us.
Dirt is getting everywhere. Moving out.
We still hit this. We still the wreck. Nice. We found 50 more scrap and 6 more fuel. That seems to be pretty consistent. You arrive at the professor's laboratory. The plot around it is littered with various bits of machinery, presumably discarded experiments, whilst the laboratory itself appears to be an old hangar. Let's approach it. You enter the laboratory, which is filled with machines and experiments making all manner of sounds. Amidst the chaos, the professor is running around pulling levers, adjusting dials, and scribbling notes whilst mumbling to himself. He notices you and approaches. Hello! My name is... Professor. I used to have a different name, but I forgot. Hardly any use for a name anyway. Ha 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 ha! That's about the flux capacitor. So, a flux capacitor, you say? You came to the right place. I'm quite an expert on these babies. I can build you one suitable for a spaceship, but I haven't got everything I need. In order to generate the required 1.21 gigawatts, I'll need a highly volatile energy source, which I haven't got lying around, but I know where to find some. Only Torvac has access to energy sources of this magnitude, so if you could acquire an energy pylon and bring it back, I could fix it up for you with a flux capacitor and use the excess energy for my own projects. You have a deal? Sure. We could threaten them, but I don't see why we wouldn't do this. Wonderful! Okay, so I know of a Torvac pylon facility, which will suffice. I'll enter the coordinates to your map, and you can head over there and acquire one. That should provide plenty of energy. Great, excellent. You had best be on your way, then. Okay, goodbye. The professor heads back inside the laboratory frantically. Let's move out. Okay, so now our flux capacitor has updated slightly, and that is quite a distance away. This is like on the other side of the map. Let's start moving. I need a camp, or... Let's see... A heavily armed Torvac convoy is traveling the highway. One would suspect they are carrying something valuable. Attack them! Torvac prepares for your assault, attempting to shield their convoy. Probably of mission hindrance 0%. Oh, so this might be a big huge mistake right before these guys. All right, I need. They have a mine layer. They have 2 mine layers. Oh, that's a rocket launcher. No, I want that guy dead first.
Captain. Unit reporting. Yes, Captain. Order. Sir.
Oh! Whoa, what was that? That was awesome.
Moving. Unit reporting. Going east. Unit reporting. Target set. What can I do? Attacking. Yes. Roger. Waiting orders. You.
I'm gonna run into that too. Oh, thank God.
Orders. What can I do? Ready and waiting. Hey. Definitely. Orders. Roger that. Yes. Orders. Let me out. Hey. Definitely. Let's go. Dirt is getting everywhere.
Whew, 6 fuel and 49 bolts. The Torvik transport vehicle is the last one standing. Let's investigate it. Oh! Yeah. It turns out the vehicle was transporting a large sum of parts. Sweet! Extra fuel might make us... Let's get to this camp.